My research project is on influenza. Influenza today is also known as the flu. It is a contagious virus. It affects the upper and or lower respiratory system. It can be minor in some cases or very severe, and also sometimes it can lead to death. In 1918, a veterinarian, J.S. Cohen, founded the flu in pigs first in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and also uh, later on later on it became the Spanish pandemic of influenza of 1918. Later in 1933, three guys, Patrick Ladoud, Christopher Andrews, and Wilson Smith, founded influenza in humans. Ladoud tested his theory on ferrets and other canines to spread the virus within the same host. Um, Anyone and everyone can be affected by the disease, whether race, age, gender. Anybody can get it. It affects people with lower immune systems, like the elderly, people with medical conditions, pregnant women, and young children and infants. Symptoms of it can be high fevers over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, aching bodies, headaches, coughing, congestion, sore throat, fatigue, and sometimes you get the chills. And in children, can also cause vomiting and diarrhea. With the how the flu works is that its virus enters your system and attaches to epithelial cells through the respiratory tract, and within the epithelial cells it's attached to, it begins to replicate itself within there and go all along the tract. And with it mixing with the immune system, it loses and deconstructs the epithelial cells, causing it to last longer. When the infection starts to weaken, the epithelial cells start to reform. This process can take up to months, uh, and the cough can last up to around um, 2 or 3 weeks after getting the virus. There is no cure for influenza, but now there are vaccines that can be given to prevent it, prevent somebody from getting a certain strand. Uh, if a person doesn't see a doctor within if a person sees a doctor within the first 48 hours, they can be given an antiviral medication like Tamiflu that can lessen the time they are sick and help prevent some other severe symptoms. Over-the-counter medicines are also advised, like cough syrup or like Robitussin DM, and also Tylenol for fever and body aches. Things over the counters can help you feel a little better, but not really treat the virus because it's no cure. Uh, the flu can be airborne through these little droplets. If somebody with the flu who has the flu that is infected talks, sneezes, or coughs around, it'll linger in the air, and people who walk by or are near you can breathe it in and can be infected with the flu. But the virus can also live on objects for several hours. So if somebody touches an object with the virus on it, rubs their nose, eyes, or mouth, they can also become infected by the virus. Someone with the flu today, within the first 1 to 4 days, the symptoms start right away. Not like a common cold. The common cold takes days and days, but they'll get a lot of symptoms within the first 1 to 4 days. First, it might start off like the morning. It'll start off like a common cold, sore throat, coughing, feeling a little tired. Later through the day, they'll run high fevers, Later on, they'll run high fevers throughout the day, feeling those chills and body aches. Most of the time, they will not go to work or school because of how bad they're feeling and because they're contagious. Um, if they see a doctor within the first 48 hours, they'll give them antiviral that'll uh, help shorten the lengthen of time of the sickness and prevent some severe symptoms. If they don't get to the doctor, most of the time they will take over-the-counter medications or decongestants to help them feel a little better. But most of the time they will they need to stay rested and hydrated through their time. The sickness can last anywhere between 5 to 10 days. The number of people affected in 2018 in the U.S., 49 million cases of the influenza happened. There were about 960,000 people who were hospitalized because of the sickness, and about 79,000 deaths caused by the sickness. Globally, the CDC assumes there are about 646,000 people who died from the sickness or flu-like sickness within a year, but there's no known number of how many people have the flu because of places they're in. Some documents aren't adequate and stuff like that, so there's no known facts. Today, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which is located in Maryland and in Montana, are doing some research on the flu. The scientists do find the flu hard to study because there's so many different strands that they can't just test just one strand because anybody can get whichever strand. One of the studies they are doing is on healthy volunteers. They are giving them the flu, giving them the flu virus, but watching them very closely to see how their body reacts and how their body tries to fight off the infections. And also another study is examining the vaccines they have now to come up with a better and more efficient vaccine to give to people. And I have a couple of references here. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I did okay. Good night.